Hello everyone, this is Anton and welcome to What the Math. This is your 30,000 subscribers special edition, and this is going to be a video that's going to be slightly longer than other specials because there's a bit of a surprise waiting for you sometime in about 2 minutes or so. Anyway, so I wanted to start by basically giving you my incredible gratitude for all of the support you've given me. Here's my tiny little heart. This is for you. This really doesn't look like a heart at all. It looks like a butt. Anyway, I'm sorry for that, but thank you so much for all your support. Thank you for being with me so long, and thank you for all of your awesome comments. They actually do mean a lot to me, and I do try to answer as many of them as I can. It does take a while, but I try to catch up. Every week, I basically sit down and try to answer every single comment, especially if it's something that I can actually help you learn, because this is an educational channel after all. Now, as you may have realized by now, a lot of the videos seem to be space related, actually the space science related, and those seem to be the most popular. Now, what is it about space that actually makes them so popular? I do not know. I always try to include a bit of science, a bit of math, a bit of everything actually, so you get to learn a bit of everything using video games, and there's actually going to be a lot of history coming and a lot of coding as well, but it's always the space videos that seem to be the ones that you guys want to see the most. But this, of course, doesn't mean that I'm going to stop making other videos. I'm not going to focus just on space videos. There's going to be space videos, of course, but there's going to be a bit of everything. It's going to be, as always, a very kind of a diverse educational channel that will teach you a bit of everything about space and science and math and biology and other subjects, specifically things that you may have never discovered otherwise, and, you know, things that you don't really learn at school. And so you may be asking yourself, so where am I going with this video? So the other question is, you may be asking is, what have I been up to? Why does my background look a little bit different from usual? And so on and so forth. Well, first of all, I did actually move to a different place in Korea. So I'm actually living in somewhere else now. A slightly smaller apartment, but it's in a slightly more convenient area for me. The other thing is that, oh, and by the way, I am going to give you a tour one day, just not yet. It's kind of messy because I just moved. And the other thing is that, well, I've actually visited the place of my birth recently, and no, it's not Bulgaria, as many of you ask. I was not born in Bulgaria. I'm not Bulgarian. It actually is. It is in Russia, which is where my family is from. But I am Canadian. I'm as Canadian as they come. I'm from Montreal. I was raised in Montreal, which is why I have this funny accent that you've probably noticed. But anyway, so I was in Russia. This is my second trip ever. First was when I was actually born there, second was now, and I was actually in a very interesting place that you're about to discover. And to be honest, one of the only reasons I actually decided to go there is because this was a perfect opportunity for me to visit a place that I've been meaning to visit for a very long time. I decided to visit the Moscow Space Museum. What? Space Museum? There's a space museum in Moscow? Absolutely, and it's actually absolutely incredible. I'm going to show it to you in this video. It's going to be all about this particular place, and I'm going to kind of guide you and annotate it for you in case you never get to visit it yourself. This is going to be essentially a video about that and about my trip to this particular place. So sit back, enjoy, and here we go. It all starts with this absolutely incredible monument. This itself is worth visiting if you actually never make it to this museum. This is made of pure titanium, and it's an incredible, ginormous structure. The surrounding area is absolutely mind-blowing as well. There's actually quite a lot of different sculptures that you're about to see. These are different famous Soviet astronauts, but also this guy, which is Tsiolkovsky. He is essentially the father of rocket science. The thing is about this particular area is that it's actually designed in such a way that it's so easy to explore, and the surrounding area is actually, you need to explore it because you'll find some crazy things that you'll see at the end of this video that I actually didn't really expect to see at all. But anyway, so there's a lot of these various sculptures, really beautiful sculptures that sort of kind of give you an idea of what the time was like back in 1957, as you can see. There's also these cool sculptures of Gagarin, obviously, and his friends, in a sense. These are all famous astronauts. You're about to see who these guys are in a second. And this, of course, is Korolev. There's actually another museum specifically for him, but I didn't go there because I just decided I'm going to leave this for next time, and because I just didn't really have enough time to explore everything. Now, there's this really cool sculpture of a planetary system, and here you basically get to see all of the planets as they were back in 1960s. This, of course, is... oh yeah, and there's also this really cool clock thingy. And this, of course, includes not only Earth, but also our infamous Pluto that you're about to see in 1 second, because it is still a planet back then. And that is Pluto right here. Now actually, the museum itself is underneath all of this. It's literally, you're just walking on it and this is the entrance. And $4 here gets you in, and you basically start with this huge photo of a smiling Gagarin. And there's a lot of other scientists that are represented here. I didn't really cover all of them, I didn't want to record all of them. But this is what you see in the beginning, this amazing out-of-this-world statue of Gagarin. Pretty impressive. I took a selfie with it, and it's actually really, really big. And of course, you begin with Sputnik 1. This is one of the first things you'll see, including what's inside of it. And what's really cool about this particular area is that everything you can imagine relevant to space exploration, and specifically Soviet exploration, is basically here. It's all here, it's all made in a really cool, easy to navigate area. And this is Sputnik 2, this is basically the satellite that carried Life Dog in there. This was a Laika, of course, and then it became a hot dog. This was Sputnik 3, and basically you get to see all of these really, really cool satellites as they were. And these are obviously not real, because the real ones have been destroyed a long time ago, but this is what they looked like when they were created. There's this really awesome observation ship that basically is used to observe and to detect various satellites, and has been actually used for many, many years to try to stay in touch, stay in contact with different satellites. This is Luna 1. And other Luna probes as well. This one actually has really awesome design, lots of solar panels, a really big camera in front as well. And the best part about this museum is that actually everything is touchable, or almost everything. You can touch almost everything. It's actually even encouraged. Like this craft, you can literally just, shove your face in there and look at it. And oh yeah, this is the first probe that landed on the moon safely. It's still there actually. You can kind of find it if you have a strong enough telescope, which you probably don't, but if you do, you may actually see it. And this is the craft that took it to the moon. I guess you can call it the orbiter. The 360 view of this beautiful machine. It's actually a lot more impressive in person. And I made a video about this craft in Kerbal Space Program, but it wasn't as impressive as seeing it in life, in person. And this here is Venus lander, not as beautiful, actually probably one of the most ugliest landers I've seen ever, but it's the lander that made it to Venus. There's also the first dogs to return from Earth, these Belka and Strelka. They actually had puppies that were then, one of them was gifted to the American president, and I think it has descendants as well that are still kind of alive. And there's a Mars orbiter as well. A lot of these things are actually really cool. I took a lot of selfies with them, basically touched almost everything, rubbed against everything. This has a really cool camera lens, took some really impressive pictures of the moon. And there's a lot of really cool things that are not just space related, like for example right here, solar panels. These were some of the first solar panels invented, and they're obviously changed the world as well. These are some unrealized projects. This was actually something called Gilio Raketoplan, I think. First ion engine ever. And this was invented in 1928. This is even earlier, 1890s, the first rocket imagined by Tsiolkovsky himself, a living rocket as he called it. And there's a lot of early rockets which were used as sounding rockets. These are basically rockets that kind of go to the upper atmosphere and then return. And there's actually an actual spacecraft that returned from space. This is a Soyuz capsule. It's a two-level capsule. You'll see a second level in a second. But you can literally shove your head inside and look and touch everything. And there's a obviously, it's a real capsule. Everything is live, essentially. Everything is working. And this is a two-stage capsule. I believe this returned many, many years ago, so it's kind of an outdated design, but you can totally check it out, and it's all available for you to kind of go in and look at and basically, feel like an actual astronaut, which was absolutely impressive. This is basically the first level, and I think this is a control room. Very, very, very cramped. I would not be able to live in there for more than a few hours, and some people stay there for days. Another capsule, another Soyuz capsule. This is Soyuz 37, and this also returned from space. This one actually is a lot more weathered, as you'll see in a second, because I'm going to show you the burn marks of this capsule. And you actually will not believe how weird and how unusual it feels to touch these objects. you really need to actually feel it to experience this. The burn layer of heat-resistant material that covers this capsule actually kind of even smells a little bit. And this is, I guess, what the astronauts were doing when they landed this craft. Kind of chilling, having some picnic, possibly doing marshmallows. Looks pretty cozy, but they can't really walk because they're basically spent so much time in space. This is an Almaz capsule. It's no longer used, but was used for a long time. These are kind of more outdated, very strange conical shape. And it says right there, you can touch it as well. And interestingly, there's actually a full-size replica of Mir station. This used to be a space station that orbited Earth for many, many years, and it was actually kind of returned back to Earth and essentially re-entered Earth a few years back. But so this is what it looked like. This is the model, and this is the real thing. And you can literally go inside. There's a person coming out right there. And we're going to go inside and check it out. And it's so cool. It's actually absolutely amazing that not only do you get to go inside, but you actually kind of sort of feel like you are actually there. You actually get to experience what it was like, and in a sense, what it's still like, you know, to live on a space station. So this is what ISS is probably like as well. Maybe a little bit bigger, actually much bigger. There's a really cool sort of representation of Earth, what it would look like when it was orbiting. This is obviously computer generated. There's a tiny toilet room right there, and I guess there's somewhere there there's a shower as well. I didn't really see it, but this is also a lunchroom right next to the toilet. And what's for lunch? Oh yeah, it's all just canned food. And the workroom is right there as well. This kind of looks like a kind of a small-ish apartment to me, but honestly, if people were living here for days and weeks, it must have been hard. This is how water was dispensed on these different earlier spacecraft, and this is what was for dinner, basically. And a lot of this is basically tube or canned food. And there's actually quite a lot of various cool but strange-looking early spacesuits. And I'm going to show you most of them. This is actually what Gagarin was wearing, including the manual pressure controls, which are kind of scary looking, because this is how your life was, basically this is what your life was dependent on. This is how they used to enter the spacesuits. It looks very, very complicated and very uncomfortable. And the fashion here is kind of questionable. Not all of these are very beautiful. I would possibly be very wary to to wear these in an international space station, because they don't look very good. Especially this one right here, because this is how I dress at home as well. Nice pants. And there's a lot of various probes that you possibly have never heard of. There's a lot of lunar probes, there's a lot of Martian probes. This, I believe, is a lunar exposition right here. There's a bunch of lunar probes and also rovers as well. And the rover here is really impressive. It's not only is it very big, but the wheels have a really cool design. Really impressed that they came up with this back in whatever 70s. Venus probe that survived for like an hour and took pictures and returned them to Earth. And also a Martian probe right here. This is Mars 3 lander, a very simple probe that survived for a few minutes on the surface. Now this right here actually studied the radiation effects, and this is called Bion 6, and it studied them on these poor little gerbils, and this was actually an international sort of science experiment, which was kind of interesting. This is a replica of what essentially we still use today, the launch center in Kazakhstan. And this is a pretty cool design, but I think it never materialized. It was supposed to be a kind of a ship, basically. A naval vessel that would launch rockets, and this was supposed to be a joint US-Russian mission. But I think it never happened. Lots of various rocket replicas, essentially all of the Soyuz craft, all of the Vostok craft, they're all here. And of course the infamous Buran. And this doesn't really come in real size, but it is really, really big and really, really impressive. And there's a really cool commemorative bench that was gifted by the American space program, and I needed to take a selfie with these awesome astronauts in the background. And then decided to do one more with Saturn V, which was actually there as well, and one more inside the Mir station. Because that place was absolutely amazing. You need to go there. This is really, really cool. And then I went outside, and guess what I found? This was absolutely impressive. Not only did my tour not finish yet, but I actually found an actual Vostok rocket only a few minutes walk away from that museum. Now this is a retired rocket, and it's really, really awesome. It's just way beyond my belief how awesome it was. There was even a space-themed playground, and an actual prototype of an actual Buran that just never made it to space. It was supposed to fly, but money ran out, and they decided to ground all of the Burans, and this is one of them. Check out these dual rudders. And you can go inside, but unfortunately this place was closed because it was too late. So I'm definitely coming back here maybe sometime next year and going inside because this is something I really want to check out. So yeah, it's a little smaller than I imagined, but impressive nevertheless. Now, honestly, all in all, this place was absolutely mind-blowing. This is absolutely must visit, and if you ever get the chance to go to Moscow, this is the place you need to go to. Forget about Kremlin. Anyway, so that's it. That's all for our tour. Thank you so much for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, or if you kind of have not subscribed yet, do consider subscribing. There's going to be more space videos coming, more educational videos coming, and more video game stuff where I'm going to teach you things as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate all of your support, and hopefully I'll see you again in 40,000 special. Maybe soon, maybe not. Game you later, see you later, bye-bye.